Here it is slower. This lick is basically an accompaniment pattern and a way to deviate from a more common alternating bass in the right-hand thumb. What I've done is created basically a walking line, in this case with the D chord. And I also want to emphasize the rhythmic aspects, and that's just by adding a little staccato characteristic in the bass notes as well. And it's both by damping with the right-hand thumb as well as choking the notes with the left hand. The same thing slower. This was an example of what I call an alternating bass blues comp in the style of Blind Blake, one of my favorite guitar players. And I guess the emphasis on this one is emphasizing the rhythmic character and also just kind of the general blues character with the slides, some of the snapped strings and so forth. But I'm getting that rhythmic bounce basically from two places. Again, from muting the left hand bass notes, as well as using the right hand to come down and dampen the strings occasionally, just to cut the notes just a little bit, just to give it that little lift. There's a slide, and there's that snap I was talking about. You comprise all those things just to give you know, some pretty basic chords and chord progression, just a little more life. Here it is again, slower. The essence of this lick really is establishing what I call floating chords over a moving bass line. In this case, it's using a Rasguiato effect with the ring, middle, and index finger. Let that sustain while the rest takes off. I'm also combining some percussive hits in there, just sort of some backbeat, just to give a little more of a percussive groove as well. And then followed by the hammered bass notes, which also gives it a little more drive. And the same thing on the conclusion. Here's the same thing slower. This lick is something I call, I guess, a quasi-blues lick, or dirty slide, rather. In other words, cleanliness is not necessarily the key. I mean, you want to get the notes and everything to be heard, but part of the essence is getting some of that fretboard knocking as well, just to kind of emphasize the batitude of the whole thing. A little vibrato. So on both of those hammers, go for a little bit more percussive aspect as well. And then ending with a big hit as well. This is a great riff to use as an opening of a tune, or it can be a nice closer too if you want to just add a little bit of a power punch at the end of an open C tune. Here it is again, slower. So this lick is really a nice combination of string and percussive attacks, and it's really more about the texture than anything else. And so the opening chord is just a strum with the index middle finger, followed by a knuckle rap on the face of the guitar, double hammer on. And this move here is just a slap harmonic on the 12th fret, aiming at the first 3 strings with the middle finger. I should also point out that in between these hammers, there's a little bit of a percussive hit and to stop the strings from ringing too much there. It also sets up that power chord really well. Ends on the nice moody minor chord.